Hey everyone, this week I have been walking with my feelings, and the most dominant feeling that has been coming up has been shame. And I've already done a fair bit of work over the years to work through those feelings, but it kept coming up. So can I walk away the feelings of shame? I'm going to explore that today. Anyway, welcome, I'm Lisa. Welcome back to our channel, Elevate with the Millses. Thanks for joining me today. I have been walking for 3 weeks now, 10 kilometres a day. And one of the reasons that I started this walking was to get to know myself better than what I did know myself, and really just to give myself some space to feel all the things. And by geez, those feelings have been coming through. So the last week has been an interesting week for us. I've had lots of emotions, and some of them I'm not going to share on this particular video as to the why, but I've certainly had feelings of sadness, of grief, of happiness and joy. And the one, like I said, the one feeling that has been coming up quite dominantly is shame. And shame is it's a really deep emotion that can be quite heavy. And it's almost linked to, well, not almost, I believe the experts, and I'm no expert in it, the experts tell us that it's linked to a feeling of unworthiness or of not being loved or not belonging. So I am a fan of Brené Brown's, and Brené Brown talks about actually naming your emotions and your feelings. So I've been doing that as I've been walking. I've been naming them, and I don't, sit or walk, in this case with my emotions, for too long, but I do try and work through what they mean for me and why that I might be feeling them. But shame, like I said, has come through a few times this week, and I really believe that over the next, 11 months, that I can walk away the feelings that I have around shame. So a few things that I do plan to do before I get into some of the other things that have happened during the week while I've been walking around shame is, like I said, is actually calling it by what it is, calling it shame, and really knowing that as soon as you speak it out loud and bring it into the light, it actually starts to diminish. It loses its power over you. And I think that's been really important for me this week. It is just a feeling. It is a feeling. It's not a fact. It's the way that I am, or if you are someone who feels shame, it's just something that we feel, and we get to silence it. Like, that is what we get to do. And it's been really important that as these feelings of shame have been coming up, that I actually really get to reconnect with who I am and my worthiness, and just knowing that, you know what, I actually am enough. I am enough. I'm getting up every day. I'm showing up. I'm doing all the things that actually do make me feel worthy. So yeah, walking tall, taking deep breaths, all those things, because your worth is really a non-negotiable. I've also started to be quite curious about my feelings, and rather than judging them, I'm actually starting to really ask myself, where is that belief coming from? Like, rather than going, what is wrong with me? Why, I'm just like, why am I feeling this? Where is it coming from? And is it even mine? Have I taken on someone else's feelings because, I've just taken that on? So really getting curious with your feelings is important. The other thing, shame does live in your body. So, walking, like I said, part of what I'm doing is about understanding me a bit better, and walking, moving. Might not want to walk 10 kilometres a day, but any sort of movement will actually help you shift some of those feelings that you might be having that particularly are related to your, feeling unworthy. So every step that I take, I actually declare that I am not my shame, I am free. So like I said, I've had many other feelings come up, and I'm sure over the next 12 months I will have lots and lots of other feelings come up, but that is just part of what I wanted to share today. As you can see, I've decided to come outside in the beautiful weather that we're having to share my videos. I've got my gorgeous husband on the other side holding the camera for me, And I just felt like this is the best place. So I could be sitting inside doing this video, but I decided I want to be outside. I want to feel the breeze. I want to experiment, and just, that's why I like walking, because I'm out in the environment. I'm breathing the fresh air. So welcome to our beautiful space that we have around us. So last week I did do a bit of a trial around, rather than walking my 10 kilometres in one hit at one time, to spread it out over 3 days. And I did actually schedule it into my calendar so that I would do it. And I actually stuck to it. I think there was one day where I might have just done it in 2 hits, because the weather was a bit iffy last week. And on Thursday or Friday, actually yesterday, Friday, I actually did the treadmill because it was absolutely pouring and I wasn't sure whether the rain was going to cease throughout the day. So I went and jumped on the treadmill. We've got a little gym, and got on the treadmill and did 7 kilometres. And then later on that afternoon, I actually walked indoors for 3 kilometres because it was still pretty ordinary. But what I felt like, the idea with me doing it over the 3 different walks of the day, was to see whether it helped my legs be less sore or less tight. But to be honest, it didn't. And again, I need to give myself some credit because it is only week 3. So I have literally gone from not walking very much to walking 10 kilometres a day. My legs are going to be sore. That's just the way it's going to be. And it's probably going to be like that for the next 12 months. So today I went back to just walking my 10 kilometres and getting it out of the way. I did feel like at times it was a bit of a hindrance having to go out at lunchtime or later on in the day to get my 3 kilometres in or whatever. So this week I'm going to go back to doing it all at one go, or at least being more flexible. So if I can get as much in the morning as I can, and then being a bit more flexible around how I actually, whether I do it all in one go or whether I spread it out throughout the day. So over the week I've walked about 73 kilometres, and I will share on here, I'll show you my Runs Around the World app that I've got, and where I've got to in Australia, because I'm walking around Australia. So it's quite cool because you get little emails to say where you've got to or how far you've got to get to the next town. If you're doing runs around Australia or runs around the world, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to follow you and see where you're doing. Eventually I will get to the end. When I first started 3 weeks ago, I think my estimated finish date was May 2036, and late last week, I think on Friday last week, I was down to November 2035. So I've already brought it down a few months. So that's really cool, because I want to try and do it before the end of this decade, so before 2030. My sleep has been a bit hit and miss. So on average, it's been about 6 hours and 47 minutes a night. I don't really know what that is, why I'm not sure for what reason it is. Maybe because I did mix it up a bit during the day, maybe because I am walking later during the day, I don't know. But I'm hoping, my goal is to try and get 8 hours sleep a night. So we'll see how we go this week, but I'm not literally losing sleep over that. But I do want to try and get 8 hours, because I know that 8 hours is good for me. Like I said, I did the treadmill this week, and I actually found the treadmill when I did it, I've steered away from the treadmill because I actually like to be outside. That to me is part of the benefit of walking out, is being outside and getting the wind and the environment, and also saying hello to other people and just seeing everyone and all the things. But I did feel like when I did the treadmill the other day that my body did recover. So my husband has said that the treadmills have some cushioning in them, which would obviously probably be better than pounding the pavement. But it's indoors, and I got pretty bored. Even though I did 7 kilometres on it, I felt pretty bored by the end of it. So I will only use the treadmill if I have to, but it might be nice just to break it up a little bit. If it's going to make my legs feel a little less sore, might be nice once a week to just jump on the treadmill and do my 10Ks on the treadmill. I don't know, again, let me know in the comments if you're a treadmiller or a pounding the pavement walker. I would love to know. That's really about it. Like I said, we've had some stuff go on in our world this week that, you know, I'm not going to talk about today. But other than that, things are going along quite nicely. Paul is recovering, again, I've told you, from back surgery, from his third back surgery. He's walking a little bit further every day. He's not quite going to be at 10 kilometres for a little while, but he's making progress, and that's the thing. And that's my thing for you guys as well. You don't have to do 10 kilometres a day. Just get out and walk. Just make some progress for you to make you feel better, because this is about me. This is about me feeling better in myself, not being better than anyone else, just being better than myself. I've been listening to audibles, and I'll share some of that next week, the books that I've been reading and the audibles I've been listening to. But overall, I've had a pretty good week. It's been a pretty good week. So yeah, whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. Like, I'm nervous about these videos, making these YouTube videos and putting them out for anyone and everyone to see. But I feel good that I'm doing it too, because at 60, I still want to be learning. I still want to be relevant. I still want to be visible. I still want to do the things that make me feel good. But I also want to do the things that enable Paul and I to live life to the fullest as well. So that's super important. So have a beautiful week. I would love to know if you've chosen to walk, if you've chosen to do some sort of an activity. Really appreciate you being here, and we will drop some travel videos this week, just some short ones later on in the week. And have a beautiful rest of your day. See ya.